We should make him. That would be really entertaining. Okay. Don't consider us rude. When do you have to leave?
6:30.
6:30. Okay, so we'll be done by then. I'm gonna try to like power through the step. So maybe about 6:15. I'm gonna have to hold it and speak to you guys. But you already know, hopefully you get a little bit of new information. All right, so my name is Melissa Herman and I am the Chief Deputy City Clerk for the City of Tulare. Basically, I am the city clerk. I just don't have the title. That's held by our city manager, Mark Mondell. And I'm just going to go over the form of government for the City of Tulare and then all the various boards, commissions, and committees that our residents and citizens can get involved in. And if you have any questions, you can just stop me during the presentation and ask me questions. Okay, so the form of government for the City of Tulare is a council manager form of government, which means that we have a city council and they appoint or hire a city manager who actually runs the day-to-day operations of the city. So the council is the ones that they're the ones that set the policy, and the city manager is responsible for applying that policy and making sure their initiatives are put into play for the city. We have 5 council members that are elected by district. The City of Tulare is split up into 5 council districts. And before 2012, we were just at large. It was one big city and council members could live anywhere in the city and they were elected just at large. In 2012, that's when we changed to districts. So every 10 years with the census data, we have to redistrict and make sure that it's an equitable distribution of voters and demographics through each district. So we just did that in 2022. So we'll redistrict again in about 7 years. So our mayor and vice mayor, they're not elected. They're actually selected by the city council. So every 2 years after an election, the city council will choose a new mayor and vice mayor. And the mayor for the City of Tulare is just more of a ceremonial type mayor. They're the spokesperson that kind of go out there and give certificates, and they run the council meetings. They don't have any more power than any of the other council members do. And elections are held every even year in November. So it's just whenever there's a November general election, that's when we will elect new city council members. So this past November, we elected for council districts 1, 3, and 5. And then in 2026, we're going to elect for districts 2 and 4, which that's Terry and Dennis Medeiros. Council meetings are held every first and third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. right here in the council chamber. Residents are encouraged to attend those meetings. That's how you can get involved and know what's going on in your city. There's always a portion of public comment. So the citizens, if you have any issues or just any general comments that you need the council to hear, people are encouraged to go and speak at those public meetings and make their comments known. So that way the council knows what their constituents have to say and any issues that are going on in the city. And then if you don't know what district you're living in, we do have a map available, and that's what that QR code goes to. You would just enter your address and it would tell you. So I'm just going to give you a little overview of the city clerk's office because not a lot of people know what the city clerk's office does. The city clerk is one of the 3 positions that is appointed by the city council. So we have the city manager, the city attorney, and the city clerk. Everybody else is hired by the city manager. Here in Tulare, we do not have a separate standalone city clerk. Our city manager is actually both titles. So he's the city manager and the city clerk. And then there's deputies that are appointed to carry out the duties of the city clerk's office. The city clerk is actually the bridge between the citizens and the legislators. So a lot of people don't know that they can go to the council members and actually voice their opinions or their concerns directly to them. So they'll come to the city clerk's office and we will either relay that information to the council or we will assist them ourselves. A lot of times we can take care of their issues because they don't really understand what departments that they need to talk to or who they need to express their concerns to. So we try to take care of that for the citizens. And then the city clerk's office has to remain neutral, unbiased, and impartial. This is important because we are the elections official for the city. And so when you have people running for election to be a council member, it's important that there's no judgment, no bias. And so that the city clerk's office prides themselves in being impartial. We maintain all of the records for the city. That doesn't mean that we actually have all the records in our office. We're just responsible for making sure that everybody in the city is maintaining their records. And then we provide access to the public to those records. So we get a lot of public records requests. I think we're at 200 right now for the year, and it just keeps going up. So there's a lot of requests that come through for various types of records that the public requests on a daily basis. We're also responsible for ensuring the accurate record of the legislative bodies. So we take the meeting minutes for the council meetings and the Board of Public Utilities. And those are permanent record. And that's how we have the history of what the council's actions were throughout the time since the council was created back in 1923. We also maintain the municipal code, which is the laws for the city. So municipal code, there's general law, which is statewide, and then there's the municipal code, which is just specific to the city of Tulare. So anytime they want to pass a new law for the city of Tulare, they have to adopt an ordinance and then it will update the municipal code. And we do have that code on our website. So if you ever have any questions about like zoning or businesses, like the restrictions on certain things, you can go to that municipal code, type in the search word, and it will pull up anything that the city has specific regarding the topics that you're looking for. And then in the clerk's office, there's two of us. So I mean, it says the city clerk, but that's a city manager, and we know that he's got a full-time job dealing with a lot of other things. And so I handle the day-to-day operations, and I have one staff member who helps me ensure that the office is running smoothly. Do you have any questions about the city clerk's office? I do. And she's new, so I'm still training her. But yeah, so we handle quite a bit in our office, but we get it done. So maybe we can add some more staff in the future. We'll see. All right, and then just ways for you to get involved at the city level. We do have boards, commissions, and committees, and these are made up of just everyday people in Tulare. So you can volunteer your time to be on one of these boards, commissions, or committees. And there's 8 of them here in the city of Tulare that are appointed by our council members. And I'll go through each of those for you. So the aviation committee, that's got 5 members, and those are all appointed by the mayor and confirmed by majority vote of the council. The only one that's not appointed by the mayor is the planning commissioner. So there's a representative on this particular committee who is also a planning commissioner. We have one airport leaseholder, so we do have hangars out at the airport that are leased. And so there's a leaseholder who's also part of that committee, and then just 3 general members. And I believe for this committee, it's not just city residents, it could be within the sphere of influence, which is like just right outside of the city limits as well. They meet just once a month at 6 p.m. at City Hall. And it's just, they're making any kind of recommendations regarding the airport, the development of the airport, the maintenance of the airport. And we have staff that's assigned to the airport that actually oversee that committee. So any questions that you have in regard to this particular committee, I can refer you to the staff member that manages that committee. All right, so the Board of Public Utilities Commissioners, that's one of our bigger boards. They're very important. They actually oversee one of the largest budgets in the city. All 5 members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by a majority vote of the council. They meet the first and third Thursday of each month at 4 p.m. here in the council chamber. They oversee all of our public works. So the water, sewer, wastewater, solid waste. I put charter sections up there, but I didn't go over that. So the city of Tulare is actually a charter city. So there's a difference. There's a general law city where you're going to follow state law, and then cities can opt to adopt a charter. And we did that back in 1923, which is actually what created the Board of Public Utilities and the City Council. And so that means there are certain things in that general law cities are tied, they have to do that the charter, we have to follow the charter instead of the general law. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but there's certain things in the charter. So when we're looking to do certain things, we have to go to both the general law, like so the government code, and then also the charter to make sure that we're doing things appropriately. All right, the Committee on Aging. This one is a 5-member board. This one actually currently has a vacancy, and I'm collecting applications for anybody interested in serving in this particular committee. They serve for four-year terms, and they're appointed by council seat. So each council member has an appointment on this particular committee. So it's not just the mayor, and it's not the like random council members. Each seat is assigned to a council member. They meet once a month on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. at the senior center. And this is just to advise on all of the senior citizen concerns and interests. And I'm assuming the programs that the senior center offers. We also have a library board. This one also has 5 members. This is the only board that has a 3-year term. Most of the other ones have 4-year terms. There's one that has 2-year terms. But this is the one that is actually governed by a California Education Code. So we have a library, because we have a public library, we're required to follow the California Education Code section 18910, which says that we have to have a board of trustees overseeing the operations of the public library. Those are all appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the council. And then they meet once a month here at the library at 4 p.m. Again, it's just their advisory, it's an advisory board, so they're just going to advise staff on and maybe, I don't know, opinions on what they'd like to see the library offer. I'm sure staff keeps them updated on the services and the numbers. And then, I don't know, Brian could probably tell you more about that than I can. This one is a Measure I Citizen Oversight Committee. We do have a tax measure here in the city of Tulare. It was passed, I can't remember when it was passed, quite a while ago. And it required us to appoint a committee to oversee the expenditures of the tax revenue that we receive in regard to that sales tax. So it was a 0.25% sales tax that was passed. I want to say it was like in 2008. But they meet only twice a year, and it's not consistent. There's no consistent date time. It's whenever the audit is ready so that they can review the audit in regards to Measure I, and they can see how those funds were spent. Measure I, when it went out on the ballot, it's a general tax, so it can be spent on anything. But when we went to the voters to ask for this sales tax, an emphasis was placed on public safety, so that we would spend quite a bit of that on public safety, and I believe streets and maybe parks as well, but I don't know if it was parks actually. But it's a general tax and we can spend it on anything, but we do try to commit those funds to spending it on public safety because that's what the city had said that we were going to do. All right. Parks and Recreation Commission, of course, this is another one that Brian would know more about than I would. It's 7 members. This is the only one that's 7 members. All of our other, no, actually, I think the police department one is 7 members as well. They serve 4-year terms. 5 of them are appointed by seat, just like the Committee on Aging. And then 2 are at-large appointments. So that means that any council member can put forward a nomination, and then the full council will vote on that to appoint that individual. They meet on the 2nd Tuesday of each month at 6:30 in the morning, and that's over at the community center on Blackstone. And again, they're an advisory commission who advises the staff and council on anything parks and recreation related. The Planning Commission, that's a 5-member commission. They're also very important because they're responsible for how the city is growing. And a lot of the new like subdivisions and businesses that you see coming through, they come through the Planning Commission to get approved. They are also appointed by council seat, so that means each council member has an appointment on the Planning Commission. They meet the second and fourth Monday of each month here in the council chamber. And that's a very technical commission. If you have any questions regarding that one, I will not be able to answer those. But I could refer you to Mario Anaya, who he is the community development director, and he knows all about that. The Police Department Citizen Complaint Review Board, this is another 7-member commission. They serve 2-year terms. The reason they serve 2-year terms is because after each election, the council members have an opportunity to appoint new members to this particular board. They're responsible for reviewing the complaints that citizens submit regarding police officers. So if you were to attend one of their meetings, it's actually interesting because most of their stuff, the whole meeting basically is in closed session because it deals with personnel issues. So you can go to a meeting and you can provide public comment at the very beginning of their meeting, but then you'll be asked to step out while they go into closed session. All right, and then to apply to serve on any of these boards, commissions, or committees, you just have to live within the city limits of the city of Tulare and be at least 18 years of age. I have an asterisk there because there are 3 that you can live within the sphere of influence, which means that you're just right outside of the city limits. You're in an area where the city is planning on growing. That is the Aviation Committee, Parks Recreation Commission, and the Planning Commission. That's correct. Even though they're in the school system, they still wouldn't be eligible to serve on any of these boards, commissions, or committees. And then this is just giving you a little bit of information on how to apply and what entails, like the selection process entails. So we just collect applications throughout the year. And when we have an opening, so right now we have an opening on the Committee on Aging, and I haven't received a ton of applications, but what I can do is go back in our file and pull up any applications that I've received within the past 2 years. I forward those to the city council, and then they'll review, and they may conduct interviews, and they'll select the members to serve on these boards, commissions, and committees. For the Committee on Aging, that one's selected by council seat. And I believe the one that is vacant, that's Vice Mayor Harrell's pick. And then I have a QR code there. If it will take you right to the application. You can apply online, and then I just keep those on file for up to 2 years. And that's all I have, actually. So I can answer any questions that you might have regarding. Thank you. Mhm. Are you talking about the ones that are near I Street? Okay, so that was a shell building that they put in with the hopes of attracting tenants to come into that warehouse. That's a private project, but yes, they will eventually have tenants in there leasing that space. Mhm. It just depends. So there's a study that's still being done on that particular topic, and we don't know yet where that district will land. It just depends on the study and what council decides. Correct. Yep, that's correct. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll come on in a couple weeks on 3-day weekend, and it runs. Yeah, that's when it'll come back on, and it'll run from like noon to like 8 o'clock at night, but we'll have signs posted, so you have to regulate that due to water restriction, and that water is runoff water, it doesn't cycle like new, the new splash pad that'll be at Zumo, that'll be more, frequently because that water is second. Okay, and Del Lago, it's just runoff water, so it's water. So if you follow us on our social media page, we'll start posting all that stuff. It's almost, yeah, it's almost every day in the summertime. So as soon as school's out, but it's always late up.
And the lake. There's a lot of fishermen there.
Oh, yeah.
But I know the city stocked it.
We stock it, yeah. So, the only thing we stock it with is trout. You wouldn't have trout there. So we'll stock it with trout. We did 2 fishing derbies this year. Two fishing derbies. And those 2 fishing derbies, they stocked with 5 per pound. They get trout from Bryant Dam, and then they come and dump it in all the way up to about the end of February, the 1st of March. You keep stocking trout all year long, dog. But that's okay.
Hey, you're a vet, I've got a 4-pound catfish there.
Yeah, probably.
Years ago, put it back in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of catfish in there. Yes. So.
Have to have, big fish in life.
Yeah, you have, it's 15 and younger or, now, you know, other people fish out there, but that's up to kind of fishing game.
Remember, you don't even like them.
No.
Don't grab fishing for you. You will get fun.
Oh, really? Cause I heard one time that, or if there's like a child that's special needs. Or a person that's special needs. That's not that over 15, but that.
Yeah, if you're over 15 and have special needs, say, well, yeah. Yeah, you can fish.
Oh.
Yeah. There's rules and regulations out there, but that's up to you. We don't rely on you out there and force people fishing because they got a big live. So we rely on fishing game. And there is a fishing game officer that lives where we'll go by there now. He will cite people. But yeah,
Very nice park, it's very long.
yeah.
All right, well, yeah, of course. Thank you for coming. Again, like this is just how a little bit of way that you can get involved in your local government. We do encourage you to attend council meetings. They are streamed on YouTube as well. So if you can't come physically, you can always catch them online. And then there's the Tulare Chamber of Commerce. They do things too that you can get involved in, just so you can be involved a little bit more in your community and what's going on and the decisions that are being made here locally. All right. Thank you.
All right, you too.